This is the Fragmented Cowl. It has this design on one side and a much simpler design on the other side. I'll start with showing you how to knit the easier side. All these stitches have 2 loops on the needle. I'll purl these. I've come to this stitch and it only has 1 loop on the needle. If I turn my work over, you'll see that it's the design stitch from the other side of the work. I slip this stitch with my marl in front. I'm purling all these stitches that have 2 loops on the needle. I've come to another stitch with only 1 loop on the needle, and I turn my work over. I can see that it's a design from the other side, so I'm going to slip it with my marl in front. Today I'm going to show you how to work a design stitch. Let's review the stitches on the needle. These have 2 loops on the needle, so they're background stitches. This one has 1 loop on the needle, but there isn't a design in the front, so the design's on the other side. This stitch has 1 loop on the needle, and the design is on the front. I purl the background stitches and slip the stitches with the design on the back. Now I'm to this stitch with the design on the front. I move my marl to the back and knit through the back loop with the light gray only. I'm going to continue working to the end of round marker. At the end of round marker, I turn my work around as if I was knitting flat, and I continue on as I've done before. Today I'm going to show you how to knit some cables on the Fragmented Cowl. This is where I am now. Each of the cables continues to travel in the direction it's currently moving. This gray stitch has 1 loop on the needle, and it forms the design on this side of the fabric. This cable should continue traveling to the right, so this stitch should end up on the other side of this background stitch. I slip this background stitch onto my cable needle and I hold it to the back, and then I'm going to work this design stitch by moving my marl to the back and knitting through the back loop with my dark gray only. The stitch on the cable needle has 2 loops on it, so I'm going to purl it. I'm going to continue working by purling all the stitches with 2 loops on the needle and slipping the design stitches from the back with my marl in front. I've come to this gray design stitch and it wants to move 1 stitch to the left to the other side of this background stitch. I'll slip this design stitch to the cable needle, hold it in front. I'll purl this stitch that has 2 loops on the needle, and then I'm going to move my marl to the back and knit through the back loop off of my cable needle with my dark gray only. I'm going to show you how to work this blue cable and this pink cable. Both will continue moving to the right. I'm going to slip this background stitch and hold it to the back. I'll move my marl to the back and knit this through the back loop with the blue only. I then purl the background stitch off of the cable needle. I'm purling the background stitches and slipping the design stitches from the other side. For the next cable, I'll slip this background stitch to a cable needle, hold it to the back, move my marl to the back. This time I'll knit through the back loop with the pink yarn. I purl the background stitch off of the cable needle. Today we're going to talk about the jump stitch, and this is what makes vision knitting possible. Let's take a look at what I have on my needles. The first stitch is a background stitch. It has 2 loops on the needle. This stitch has only 1 loop on the needle. It's a design stitch from the other side. This stitch, the pink stitch, is a design stitch from this side, and I want this design stitch to move 1 background stitch to the right. So it's going to end up on this side of these 2 stitches. How I do this is I slip the first 2 stitches to the cable needle and I hold them to the back. I move my marl to the back and I'm going to work through the back loop with the pink only. On the cable needle, I have a background stitch, so I'm going to purl it. And there's a design stitch from the other side, so I'm going to slip it with my marl in front. And now that we're done, we have this design stitch has moved to the right of that background stitch, and it also jumped over that design stitch from the other side. Today, I'm going to work a jump stitch that moves to the left. So here I have this design stitch, and it wants to move one background stitch to the left. So here's the background stitch. So the design stitch wants to end here. It needs to jump over this design stitch from the back. So what I'll do is I'm going to slip this design stitch to a cable needle and hold it in the front. This next stitch is slipped with my marl in front. The next stitch is a background stitch, so I'm going to purl it. And then I'm going to work this design stitch by moving my marl to the back and knitting through the back loop with the pink only. So you can see that this design stitch has jumped over this design stitch from the back and also crossed over this background stitch. If you don't want to start with cables in 4 colors, you can start with the Color Research Project. This will show you how to manage 4 yarns attached to your work. To learn how to work fission cables, you can start with the Flowing Marl series. This is a glossary for the Fragmented Cowl. All the blue links are to YouTube tutorials.